Hello. I have been dying to recreate this Anne Hathaway makeup since girl stepped out. I've had the trench just waiting. The trench, the necklace, and the earrings, just waiting. Respectfully, I am going to remove this while we do it because I would like to not be fully encumbered by the swaths of fabric. Additionally, we're going to be doing this using all drugstore makeup. I'm very excited. So let's get into it. Loved the makeup. Although I gotta say, whoever did it really played her with these lashes. This lash placement popping off shouldn't be happening. Shouldn't be happening. Let me know if you need an updated lash application video because this right here is a rookie mistake, and I have what I think is like the best solution for that. We're gonna start off. I think I'm gonna start off with the eyes actually, just in case. I am doing all drugstore. The only thing that isn't going to be drugstore are my brushes, and I am going to be using the Sephora under eye cucumber patch things. You can get this type of thing at the drugstore though, like Neutrogena has them. I just don't have any. Okay. We're hydrating. We're multitasking. She's got a lot of shimmer going on, and it's relatively neutral, in my opinion. It kind of looks like she's got like a tight line on the top, and then, because those lashes are really doing a lot of work, and then there's just a sort of like a neutral brownish shimmer kind of going all the way from the lid, and then just like lash line, lid, and then just blend it up a little bit. So that's what we're gonna do. It's relatively fresh and simple, the eyes. It's always tough with these like flash photography photos, you know what I mean? It's hard to see all that detail, because in some of the other photos it looks a little more smoky. So, you know, if you love this makeup look, you can kind of tone it down, tone it up. I don't know. I'm going to start off. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna kind of like sketch out my brows. I'm going to use this brow stylist definer from L'Oreal. This is in the shade Auburn. I'm just gonna sketch them out so I have like a little bit of a shape. So yeah, I like to just kind of define the shape of the brow so I have a guide for where my eyeshadow is gonna go. Oh, this is nice. It's not too... This is my first time trying this brow pencil. It's pretty good. It's not like too red, but it's a nice tone. We'll do more with the brows later on. Just want to have like basic shape. I think I'm actually going to use just a little bit of concealer. I'm going to use the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer. This one is in the shade Light Ivory, which is, you can see it's like probably a shade darker than my actual skin tone. And it has a little bit more like of a peach to it. So it'll just be kind of nice on my eyelids. And I'm just going to use like a teeny little bit. I'm using this brush from Sigma, the Angela Bright, her newest collection. This is the AB4. I'm just gonna neutralize all this color on my lid. Teeniest amount, and then I'm just gonna set it gently with a powder. You don't need too much. Okay, I'm gonna use the Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out powder. This is in the shade Translucent 01. Just because it's got a little bit of warmth and also a little bit of peach in it. I want to maintain a little bit of warmth because the color looks relatively neutral, and because my hair and my tones in general are a little more warm, I just don't want everything to be like too cool toned. Just using that same brush. And I'm going to pat it especially in the crease and anywhere where I tend to get a little bit of creasing, and I'm kind of like not really setting like the full lid. Okay, so I'm actually gonna start with this L'Oreal Infallible Gel Mechanical Liner in Intense Black. This guy, and I'm just gonna start off by tight lining my lashes. So I'm going to, there's a hair. I'm going to just kind of press this like against the base of my lashes to thicken up that lash line. It doesn't look like she has any kind of a wing or anything. It just looks like her lash line is maybe ever so slightly intensified. So I just want to do that. And I'm kind of like poking it down into the lash line. So I'm not bringing it up too high. And then I'm just taking, once again, little Sigma Angela Bright brush. This is the AB6, right? 6, yep. Can't read upside down. That actually set pretty quickly. I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that on the brush and just press on top of that, filling any gaps, kind of softening a little bit. Probably go over that with like a brown shadow. Got some areas where it doesn't want to blend. This is a little more waxy, this pencil. Like it sets relatively quickly. So it's definitely, it says it's a gel, what did it say? A gel mechanical liner. So it's not like super blendy like a kohl. If you want something like that, the Maybelline Master Precise one is really, really good. Okay, I'm gonna take that same brush and then, yeah, I have this Milani Gilded Mini palette. This is 150 Call Me Old Fashioned. But it has these really nice neutrally colors, you know? And I'm really feeling like these two, like even just like mixing them, because it looks like she just has like a lot of shimmer on her lid. So I'm gonna use the slightly darker, more neutral one on that brush. Just kind of working it into the bristles and then tapping it off. I'm gonna pop this on top of that liner. Just keep in mind this is my interpretation, okay? Like I really don't know what she has going on because it's very difficult to see, but you don't have to do it exactly like this. If you want it to be a little bit smokier and darker, you can go in with, like, for instance, this black shade, smoky black, or it's like a, it's not quite black, it's like a little bit like of a charcoal kind of black. It's a little bit lighter. To set your liner, which will create just like a little bit more of like a smoky eye kind of effect, but the reflect in this will kind of like help to set that liner without making it look too thick, you know, and too smoky, because I don't want to overwhelm the eyes. She has big eyes, like these big like animated eyes. Mine aren't big like that. Okay, see how it just kind of like softens a little bit, but we have that reflect, so it kind of like maintains that openness for the eyes. I am going to use this large rougher brush. This is the 33 brush, and I'm going to dip into this shade from the Milani palette. Oh, this one right here. So I'm going to work my brush into that once again, tapping it off. You also have the option of like tapping it into a paper towel or onto the back of your hand. And I'm going to press this. Oh, I'm not pressing, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna kind of like buff this on the lid. Into the inner corner a little bit. And then I'm just gonna blend up and out. Oh, lost a little guy. I'm just gonna build that up slowly, basically. She does have like a bit of that lift throughout. Now this is probably a little bit warmer than what she has going on, but I can see a bit of like, it's like that neutral, almost pewter, with a little bit of like a warmer color. And since I have red hair right now, I don't want this to be too like unflattering. So if you have a cooler toned skin tone, then you can skip like a more bronzy color. Just depends. Like you can go more golden if your hair has more gold in it. Just make sure that you're trying to make it flattering with your coloring. Somebody recently asked actually for an eyeshadow video where you use all shimmers, which is something I actually have done that in the past, but it was more like colorful and creative. This is a really great way to utilize shimmers in a smoky eye, where you're keeping it like relatively soft still. And if you are adverse to smoky eyes, if you feel like doing this kind of thing ends up just being a little heavy on your eyes, it's really nice to just slowly build up a shimmer like this, because first of all, the shimmer's not too overwhelming, but also having a bit of that reflect on your eyes with that like smokier, darker shade. It just helps to kind of like keep things open and not be so overwhelming having that reflect. So now I'm going to grab, give me a rougher brush, any rougher brush. I'm gonna grab a little blender and I'm gonna go back into that more like charcoaly pewter kind of shimmer on a small blending brush, working that into the bristles, tapping it off, working it into a paper towel. And then I'm going to focus this in the outer corner and then into the crease a bit on the outer part. So now we're bringing a bit of that more like cool toned color in to the look. We're defining that crease a bit and marrying what we went over that liner with. So this is just a really great way to slowly build up depth in like a fully shimmery look and make sure that those colors don't look like completely disconnected. I'm just gonna bring it up a little bit and blend it out. Okay, can you see the difference there? We've added like a little bit of depth. Where this side is pretty, but it's a little more flat. This side, we've just created like a little bit more depth in the crease, a little more smoke, you know? You can build that up as much as you want. It's very difficult for me to tell how much she has going on. It also kind of looks like she's got a bit of it on her lid. I just don't want to get too dark though. If you are going to do an all shimmery eye, I highly recommend doing your eyes first, just because shimmer is a little bit harder to, especially if you're like me and you're not patient. I'm not patient with this stuff. Like I would just rather do my eyes first so that I can have little flecks go everywhere. And then I'll just clean it up before I do my base. Like, I don't know. It just makes more sense to me. I do think with shimmery eyeshadow, when you're working with all shimmer, it's a lot more important for you to step into different lighting, because the shimmer, especially like with the light sort of reflecting off of the shimmer, can be really hard to see if things are even. So you always just want to make sure that you are stepping back and checking your work, okay? Go into the bathroom, go into unflattering lighting and be like, okay, does this, you know, how even does this look? Does this look okay? For my lower lash line, what the hell does she got going on down here? It doesn't look like a whole lot, but there is a bit, I see some warmth dragged on the lower lash line. So I'm actually gonna go back into that little brush, the Angela Bright one, which is very similar to my little rougher brushes. And I'm gonna pick up the slightly bronzier tone shadow, this guy. And I'm just gonna blend that along the lash line. I see a little bit more warmth on her lower lash line than I do anywhere else. And I'm just gonna keep that really tight, real tight to the waterline. Yeah. Blending up. Yeah, I like that. I think that looks nice. I'm happy with that. Oh, let's move on to the face. Those are nice colors, actually. So she has very glowy skin, but it's very flawless. Like she definitely has like full coverage foundation going on. This girl is glam, okay? So I am going to use Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Smoothing Primer. I'm gonna place a little bit of that in the center of my face, just in my T-zone. If nobody comments how much better my skin is, I'm gonna be really upset with you guys because my skin has gotten so much better. So much better. I really just like, I'm letting it heal. I'm not pushing anything. It's still not where I want it to be, but it's, you know, it's gotten a hell of a lot better. Pressing into pores. Pressing into pores. Aren't these nails cute? I feel like such a girl. I feel like such a girl when I have long nails. I'm gonna do the same thing that I did. I guess this was kind of the same thing already, that I did with my Cloud Skin tutorial. I'm gonna use the Pixi Flawless Beauty Primer. Real glowy, all right? Basically an illuminator. I'm gonna put that on the, that was way too much, holy crap. Oh my God, that was way too much. All right, I'm gonna put that on the outer perimeter of my face because girl has got glow. Girl's got glow. Plus my skin is very, it's well hydrated. It's well hydrated, so I don't need dew, but I do want glow. Keeping it far away from the center of my face. See that? Look at that glow. Ooh. And then just dragging it down my neck. Cohesion. Now I'm a little torn. I'm a little bit torn on what I want to use on my face because I don't want to be so matte. It's gonna sound weird. I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. This is in the shade 12 Fair Warm, just a little bit on the yellow side, but I'd rather that because I am quite yellow than like orange. You know, I'm gonna use this because it's a soft satin foundation, so it'll maintain flawlessness in the center of the face, but it'll go over that glow, that glowy primer really nicely. And I'm gonna be applying this with a sponge, a damp sponge. So like I showed you in my cloud skin tutorial, I'm going to be starting off in the center of my face where I applied the Blur Out primer to begin. This foundation's a little bit light for me. It's pretty light. It's pretty light. Damn. Ah! Where's my other foundations? I didn't realize how light it was. But you know what? I usually mix it with other foundations. And I'm remembering why. I'm remembering why. So, I'm gonna grab a slightly darker foundation for the outer perimeter of my face just so that I don't end up looking like a total ghost. Okay, I have this L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation. Up to 32-hour wear. I don't know if you guys saw me in that commercial. Learning lines is really hard. So this is in the shade, 411. Which is it's a little bit darker than my skin, but I think it'll mix nicely. So I'm just gonna use that on the sponge to go around the outer perimeter of the face and then just kind of blend inward a little bit. This is a beautiful formula, just if anybody was wondering. Very lightweight and comfy. I do need a lighter shade though. Quite nice. Actually kind of like a nice little tip. If you happen to have like a foundation that's too light or a foundation that is too dark, you don't necessarily have to mix them together. You could also use like the lighter one in the center of the face and then the darker one on the outer perimeter, which just kind of helps to create like a really nice dimension before even going in with any bronzer or contour. It also kind of like allows you to pick and choose. Maybe you don't need to contour, maybe you don't need to bronze, you know? That's actually a very beautiful base. I'm happy with it. All right, I'm gonna do my contour now. I'm gonna be using my new favorite contour. This is the CoverGirl True Blend Skin Enhancer Contour Balm Stick in the shade Defined. I don't know if you guys clocked this in my cloud skin tutorial. I was wiping it off of my hand and I kind of like stopped for a second and I was looking at it. And one of the reasons was it's got quite a green base. This is a beautiful contour color for pale olive skin. So beautiful. Like it has a very green base compared to my Sephora contour stick, which is a little bit more like on the purpley side. So which might be better if you are a cool toned olive. And your like shadows end up looking a little bit more like on the purpley side. But if you have a little bit more warmth in your skin, then you know this is pretty nice. It's like basically my exact contour or shadow color. So yeah, you can skip this part if you don't do a lot of sculpting. But this is for all the Twix bars. You know what I mean? Okay, my brush. Dude, Twix are fire, just saying. I had a Kit Kat recently and it like did not hit. It just didn't hit. I was like, this is so lame. This is not what I remembered. But Twix still hits. It really does. It really does. You see how beautiful that contour color is? Oh, so good. Now, obviously we have very, very different faces. So I'm gonna stick to my contour. It's really gonna be more so about the colors. And I might, I don't know, she does have blush like quite a bit on the apples of her cheeks. But like, come on, I don't, like my face is so much wider. She has like this nice kind of like ovally shaped face. So bringing the attention to the center of the face and the cheeks can help to like kind of fill her face out a little bit, but I don't need that. I don't need that. Plus I don't have any, like when she smiles, she has really nice volume right here. And my cheeks are just like a little bit more flat. So it just kind of looks kind of strange. You know what else? Now I'm just rambling, but I was reading some comments and some people were like, it's so unnatural for you to put blush up higher because that's not where you blush. But the other day I did like a really intense workout and I blush up here. So don't act like you know me. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, for my nose and lip contour, I'm mixing those, I'm mixing my, dropping everything. I'm mixing my contour stick with my diamond bronzer from Physicians Formula in the shade Bronze Gem, which is what I'm going to use to bronze my face, but I'm just not doing it yet. Just mixing those on the back of my hand. I'm using a little BK Beauty 210 brush. She has a snatched nose contour in this photo. It is snatched. So we're following suit. This combo also is my new favorite nose contour combination because it's not too dark. It's not too dark. It's very difficult to find contour colors that are not too dark when you are quite pale. And aren't too warm, you know? So I'm really trying to refine the tip right now. Hers is extremely refined, but I also have like a larger, like the tip of my nose is just like a little bit more round than hers in general. Okay, I'm gonna leave that like that for right now, and then we'll finish the blend when I do my concealer. But I'm gonna jump into my bronzer, which the Physicians Formula. I love this bronzer. I wish they had a lighter shade that was a little bit more golden, but this is fine, especially now because my hair is more of like this reddish copper. This color works just fine. She is quite sculpted and bronzed. So I'm going to start up here by the hairline and then I'm going to take it down to the top of the brow. Really, really warming up the forehead. She's also got that snatched ponytail though, so this is like extra important. Gorge. Very happy with this base so far. And then I'm going to kind of cup my cheeks a little bit. Just gonna kind of like try to emulate the shape of her head. Emulate the shape of her head, even though I don't have her head shape. So I'm doing a little bit more like this. You know what I mean? To kind of like minimize. Take a little bit of that across here, just for some warmth there. And then whatever's left over, I'm just gonna bring a little bit on my slightly upper jawline, because I want to warm up this area, kind of deepen it to minimize. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back in with, where'd it go? I'm gonna go in with my foundation sponge and just do a little bit of gentle blending, very gentle. Oh, I didn't do my lips. I forgot. Hold on. She probably doesn't have that. I can't tell, but I gotta do it. And you know what? I end up covering it up with lip liner anyway, but I still gotta do it. I just have to. So I'm just mixing my contour and bronze shade again. And I basically just treat it as if it's lip liner. I do kind of feel like when I do this though, I end up doing a little less work with my lip liner, but I don't know, I could be, maybe I'm lying to myself. I don't, who knows these days? You know what I mean? I'm gonna do a little bit of color correcting. I'm actually gonna mix a little bit of this e.l.f. camo concealer in, what was it? Light ivory, because it has like a little bit of a peach in it. Just a little bit, and it is like a nice formula. It's relatively full coverage, but it's hydrating with the LA Pro Conceal in yellow. It's the yellow one, the light yellow one. Color corrector. Just gonna mix those together. I should put the cap on this before I lose it. I'm gonna use this BK Beauty 203 brush. I'm just gonna mix those together. I'm going to focus this in the dark area. Now, she has her concealer taken all the way up because she's got this tight lash line going on down here. So we're gonna attempt. I usually just like avoid it entirely because I want to avoid creasing. If you do things the right way, you can apply like directly in your creases. You just have to be, you gotta be careful with the amount that you're applying. Like I've already applied too much, but we're gonna continue. All right, we're gonna proceed. So I'm placing this in my inner corner where it gets a little dark. Beautiful combo. Oh, that's very nice. Okay. I like that combination. I'm just wiping my brush off. I'm gonna press that into the skin a little more. Picking up any excess. Blending into the side of the nose a little bit. Buffing around the edges of the eyeshadow. I'm trying to decide, because I feel like pretty bright in the center of my face. I don't really feel like I need that because my foundation there was so light. Yeah, I just don't really feel like I need to go in with concealer because that was just like so light. It kind of like worked beautifully. I'm just gonna apply a teeny little bit of my CoverGirl True Blend concealer in the shade Fair Porcelain. The teeniest right here. Right there. And I'm gonna blend that with this sponge, which I think I said was from e.l.f. It's not e.l.f. I think it's Real Techniques. I forgot. I don't remember. So apologies if you guys were trying to find an e.l.f. brush, sponge that looks nothing, or that looks like this, because it actually doesn't exist. But I do think it's Real Techniques. And if it's not, please tell me. Beautiful. All right. I'm going to just do a little bit of blending with that concealer brush to finish off the nose contour. I just want to make sure that it's blended enough without totally losing it. I think that's fine. So for my blush, I'm gonna go back to an oldie because she has this beautiful coral blush on her cheeks. This is Milani Cheek Kiss in Coral Crush. Gorgeous color. Love so much. So I'm gonna pick this up with one of my other rougher brushes. I'm gonna pick it up with the brush. I'm gonna blend it into the back of my hand. And then I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna place it up a little bit higher. I don't want to take it down too low. But like right there. This is such a beautiful glowy blush. And I definitely applied way too much. just leave it like that. You know what I mean? Just a stripe, just a straight up stripe. I die. Pat that into a little bit into the concealer. Just patting around the edges to blend it. And take a little bit of that on the tip of the nose. And just pressing that into the skin. Okay, I just did the most minimal spot concealing. Like it took like a couple minutes, maybe tops. Like I feel like this thing down here was like the biggest thing that I actually touched. I'm just gonna go back in with the 33. And I'm not swiping because I haven't set with any powder yet. I'm just patting to bring this out a little bit so that this little area out here is blended. So no additional product, just using the brush that I initially went in with, that little more bronzy shimmer. Now I'm going to first set underneath my eyes. Today I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Halo Glow powder. This is the lightest one, light, I believe. And I'm going to set my under eyes with a powder puff. I've just been using my Smashbox one because it's nice and pointy, but I don't think you can buy this like individually. So kind of hate to use it. So just pressing my powder puff into the powder and then making sure it's evenly distributed on the puff. And then I want to make sure that I'm blended. And then pressing under the eye. Yeah, and then I'm going back and forth. You can see I'm kind of going do-do-do-do-do-do, and then do-do-do-do-do, so that I'm getting every area, but I'm not going in with so much powder, okay? So it's not gonna end up looking like super crepey or dry. It's just gonna soft and smooth. I kind of like, yeah, I just started using my Huda powder because it's very, very bright, but I do like this powder. All right, I'm gonna take a little bit of that. I'm gonna set down the side of my nose. My smile line, still using that puff. We want perfection here. And I am gonna use a setting spray, so if there are any areas that get like a little too matte, I'll bring a little hydration back between my eyebrows. And my chin. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit of that on that puff to kind of sculpt under the cheekbone, because she does have like quite a bit of lightness here. So when I do this, I kind of just like, I'll do that. I'll just kind of like place it down right. I don't let it sit too long because this is a quite like brightening powder. So it doesn't really need to sit. Just kind of lay it in and be like, it's like a little bit of an eraser. I'll just lay it in, and then I'm just gonna go in with a clean brush. This one's from Wayne Goss. I'm just gonna dust it. Just adds like a little bit of brightening there. All right, for the rest of the face, I'm going to use the Milani Conceal and Perfect powder in 01 Translucent, which is a little bit more peach, which I think is just gonna like help complement all the colors that we have going on in the outer perimeter of the face. I'm just gonna gently pat this around the outer perimeter of the face to set everything in place. You don't have to use two different colored powders, but I really like to brighten my under eyes as someone with dark circles. And using that same powder in the outer perimeter of my face in areas where I'm applying warmth can just kind of end up making those colors look a little bit ashy. Like, trust me, I've made the mistake. So because this powder has a little bit of peach in it, it helps to kind of like bring everything together without making it look like dead, you know? Do I need to reinforce the bronzer? I kind of wanna. I'm gonna do it around my cheekbones and maybe a little bit on the forehead. I'm gonna use the Milani Silky Matte bronzer in 01. And I'm just gonna use that powder brush for that, just to keep things It's soft. So I'm gonna focus this up here. Just emulating her placement. And then just a little bit. On the cheekbone. And then for my blush, because she just has this beautiful luminosity, I'm gonna reinforce that blush with the Essence. I kind of fell in love with these Essence blushes, these baked blushes. This is the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush in the shade Pretty Peach, which is perfect. And she's already got this gorgeous glow on her cheeks. What do you mean already? Talking to myself. What do you mean already? So I'm just gonna pick this up on a brush. I'm gonna pick it on a brush. And I'm gonna dust this over the cheeks. And this has like a really beautiful kind of like soft gold pearl to it. So everything that we're doing is just helping to add little bits of dimension to the skin. I'm gonna take a little bit of that up onto the temple to keep that color nice and cohesive throughout the face. A little bit underneath the chin, just for a little glow. Do you guys have a favorite cheek? Because this is my favorite cheek. It's so much better than this one. This is such a good cheek. Look at that cheek. Ooh. This cheek is fine. Like, it's fine. This one's better though. Ooh. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna take, still on that fluffy brush, I'm just gonna take a little bit of that blush. I'm just gonna pop it above my eyeshadow and stamp it into my brow. Because I just feel it. I feel it in my bones. And I don't know if it did anything, but it's there. I feel like we lost the nose contour a little bit. I'm just gonna go in with my bronzer and a little blender brush and just kind of reinforce the nose contour softly. So I'm using a bronzer color, which is a little bit more warm. Whatever, it's fine. All right, she is glowing. Girl is glowing. Okay, so I don't have a dewy drugstore setting mist. I don't really use dewy mists. Like, I tend to prefer matte. So I'm just gonna like build this up quite a bit. The e.l.f. one. I'm gonna really hit that outer perimeter of the face. That's better, because now we have like a natural glow without looking, you know, oily in any way. Now we can kind of like build up that glow. So, God, her face is glowy. Okay, so, I'm sorry, I'm just admiring my base. I don't know what highlighter I want to use. That's the only thing. I want to go back to the Milani palette, but I also have this L'Oreal Lumi, which just looks so pretty. This is the highlighter stick, and I feel like it complements this look. I think I am going to use this. I just feel like it works. So I'm going to put this on the back of my hand. Can you see that at all? It has kind of like a gold reflect in it. It's almost like a bronzy, you know, almost like a bronzy rose color. Just gonna warm this up on the back of my hand. And I'm gonna apply this, how do I wanna do it? I'm gonna use my cream brush and just work my brush into that. And then I'm gonna pop it on the top of the cheekbone. Ooh. So we're just really building up that dimension and glow. So pretty, and kind of reinforcing that blush, because she does have a very sort of like rose gold look to her face. Even within the more neutrally eyeshadow, which is why I chose to use that slightly more red bronze color. All the colors really work nicely. You know what? Once again, just above the arch of the brow. I'm gonna pop that right there and a little bit on the tip of the chin. Gorgeous glow. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. Okay, I'm gonna just finish my brows off camera because I literally just did a brow video. Finish my brows. I am going to do my mascara. We're gonna do the lips last. So, I'm gonna go in with my e.l.f. lash curler, which I gotta say, I'm so spoiled by my Refer lash curler. Like, the original Refer lash curler, they have 2 versions for different eye shapes, which is amazing, but the one that they first launched is a little bit more wide, and it's just so much easier for me to like curl my lashes. I'm very spoiled with that. I have yet to find a drugstore lash curler that is wide enough for me to like feel comfortable curling my lashes. Like, this one is probably the closest one that I found, but it's not quite as wide as my Refer one. I'm going to be using, I've been obsessed with this mascara. I feel like I've seen some controversial things about it, but this is the Bubble Mascara from Maybelline. I'm obsessed with it. I think it's so good. I got I don't know if it's black brown. I think it's black brown color, which I just think like works really beautifully for my coloring in general. It's like ever so slightly softer without being like gray toned. But yeah, I've been really loving this mascara. I am gonna wear falsies. So it doesn't really like matter if my lashes are staying up. I just wanted to curl them so that they're up enough, you know? But yeah, I've really been liking it. I wore it the other day. No waterproof mascara, just this, and I thought it looked really nice. Held up really nicely too. I've just seen some people talk about how like they love it, and I've seen other people talk about how like it's terrible. So I'm just like, okay, I like it. For my falsies, I want to avoid the problem that she had. So I have these Impress falsies from Kiss. These are like, they're pre-glued basically. They're for underlash. And these are the style Natural, I believe. The only hesitation I have is I've picked up some other ones of Kiss that are like this, the pre-stick for under lashes, and they were so bad. Like, so bad. They were flaking, like the glue stuff was flaking off. So we'll see what happens with these, if they are any different. But basically, I love an underlash like application because, number one, you're not gonna have this problem where your lashes are popping off at the corners. The problem is that you need to get nice curly ones. So these are nice because they are quite curly. So do we have these 2 different lengths? I think so. So we have like a long and a medium. I'm gonna start off with the long ones. So I'm gonna press them towards the bottom part. Yeah. And these are nice and curly. They curl up, so they're not gonna like drag the eyes down too much. Now, are these actually sticking? I think so. The other ones I got from Kiss did not stick. They would not stick. It was so frustrating. I'm gonna do one more long on either side. Oh yeah, these are nice because you get that length too, which is exactly what I want from this, because her lashes are, whatever lashes they used on her, are real long. Beautiful. And then I'm gonna go into the medium one. I'm gonna do this in like the center of my eye. Yeah, I couldn't get the glue off of this one so you can see it. Ah, that's really annoying. Bro. Those are actually really nice. I'm glad. I was worried. I was really worried that I was gonna have the same problem that I had, but I think I just got like a dud batch or something. Just a fluke. Beautiful. And now we don't need to worry about any weird gaps or lashes popping off, you know? And damn, these give a really nice volume and lift. These are good. My other favorites are velour because they're nice and curly, but if you're looking for a drugstore version, this is so good. Okay, for the lips, I am going to first line them using e.l.f. Baddest Beige has been my favorite lip liner recently. So I'm just going to line my lips, dude. This is a slightly more brown and darker lip liner. So we're just doing a little bit of shaping. And I'm just following my lip shape because we don't, our mouths don't look anything alike. And then I am going to just use a tiny little brush. I'm gonna use my Refer 21 brush. I love using this as a lip brush. And I'm going to actually apply, found it. So this is, once again, Coral Crush. Just gonna pick this up on a brush, because would you believe it? I was looking at all of my lipsticks and I swear I had one specifically for this look picked out a while ago. I couldn't find it anywhere. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll just wing it. So just blending all over the lips and then into that lip liner a little. And then I'm gonna pick up a little bit of that e.l.f. concealer, which is what I used to clean up my the edges of my lips. Place that in the center. Just to tone that peach down a little bit. And then I'm just gonna go over top of that with the Milani, what is this? Milani Keep It Full Glossing Pump, what? Glossy Plumping Balm. This is in the shade Puff. Just a little caramely and juicy. It's like a little pink, but once I added this, I feel like it got a little closer. It's pretty. How do we feel? She looks much more elegant than I do. I look like a mess, but this is the look. I hope you enjoyed. I've been wanting to recreate this for so long. I just love the tones in it. I think it's so pretty. And anyone can wear it. Just remember to kind of like adjust the tones for specifically your skin tone. So if you are cooler toned, then you want to go a little bit more in that direction. Maybe like closer to that pewter or even like a charcoal kind of color. And if like red tones in the, like if it's a little too red bronzy, then maybe go more towards like a golden sort of like bronzy color to make it the most flattering for you. And I feel like we did a pretty good job. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was enjoyable for you. Let me know if there are any other celebrity recreations that you want to see soon. I have a Dakota Johnson look that I've been dying to recreate. It's sort of in the same vein. This like really beautiful, just like wearable smoky eye. Kind of obsessed with it. So let me know if you want to see that. But I love doing celebrity recreations. I'm happy to do as many as possible during Drugstore July. So let me know. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, you know what I just realized? That Milani thing is a little bit plumping. I can feel it. Start to do a little bit of tingle. A little bit of tingle. Whatever, it's fine. All right, I'm gonna go.